Steve Keel went missing on the 27th of August 2022 whilst on a hunting trip in Alaska. At the age of 63, Steve was an experienced outdoor person. Steve went missing on the caribou hunting trip in Dead Horse, Alaska. His backpack and walking poles were located, but extensive searches of the area have been unsuccessful in locating him. Steve had travelled over 500 miles north to the Dead Horse region with a friend on August the 20th, 2022. Being in a remote region, Steve and his friend kept close contact with their families throughout the trip. Steve left the campsite on August 28th, 2022 to get supplies. This is the point of separation that's spoken about in the David Paulides Missing 411 movie, where it describes the point of separation when people go missing. While Steve was collecting supplies roughly a mile away from the campsite to collect caribou meat, he went missing and never returned. Alaska has been described as the final frontier and is by far the largest state in the United States. With a low population of any state at 663,268 square miles of pure wilderness, Alaska is unforgiving. After a full-scale search operation by authorities, they were unable to locate Steve in the remote region of Alaska. However, his two sons, Ben and Jake, visited to conduct their own searches.
Tonight, more help is on the way.
Friends and family aren't giving up on the search for a Stewart County hunter who disappeared more than a week ago in a remote part of Alaska.
News Channel 5's Nick Barris has the latest on the push to find Steve Keel.
It just doesn't make sense. Steve Keel, an experienced outdoorsman, he goes prepared, and there's just no explanation for him to suddenly disappear without a trace. It's now been 11 days since the Marine veteran vanished from his campsite at Dead Horse in far northern Alaska. It is rugged territory, but his wife says nothing her husband couldn't handle.
I mean, he's been in the woods and out in terrain his entire life. And you ask anybody, Steve's not a guy to get lost.
Keel was on a hunting trip with longtime friend Brian Collins and had left to go collect some caribou meat but never returned. Searches on ground and from air have so far turned up nothing. Keel's own two adult sons even flew out to help look. They are back now, but this morning 4 others from Stewart County with search and rescue experience boarded a plane for Alaska to help. Each passing day with Keel missing in such a remote part of the world raises the question, can he still be alive?
And everyone that knows him says he's tough as a pine knot. So he could survive. They say if anybody could survive this, it'd be Steve Keel.
The 4 from Tennessee will be assisted by authorities in Alaska with plans to use dogs on a continuing grid search covering miles around Dead Horse. The good news is the weather this time of year is not yet frigid and the days are not yet too short. The question, of course, what could have happened? We're talking about an experienced outdoorsman. Could he have become lost? Was this maybe a wild animal attack? Could he have fallen into a ravine or had a medical emergency? All these options remain on the table. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
Steve Keel's case is strikingly similar to the Thomas Messick case, in which he disappeared whilst on a hunting trip as well. After a full-scale search, he was never found. And also another hunter, Aaron Hedges, who vanished while collecting supplies in the wilderness, never to return. What's striking about these cases is from the point of separation, something seems to happen in that period of time to cause them to go missing. As most people are aware of the Bermuda Triangle, a lot of people aren't aware of the Alaskan Triangle, where roughly 20,000 people have disappeared since 1970. Explanations for the strange phenomenon have ranged from everything from alien activity to powerful electromagnetic fields in the area, similar to those found in the Bermuda Triangle. Local legends refer to Sasquatch, a creature terrorising towns. This includes one settlement called Portlock on the southern edge of the Kenai Peninsula. Legend has it this town was abandoned in the 1950s after villagers were attacked and killed by an unknown creature called Nantinak. Cryptozoologist quoted Cliff Barackman, "Anything of any size could be hiding in the Alaskan wilderness." He said with so much fantastic habitat and so few people to compete with, Sasquatches basically have the run of Alaska. The skeptic person will ignore these outlandish theories, but what we can't get away from is the fact that 20,000 people have vanished from Alaska since the 1970s. Hopefully Steve's family will be able to find closure and locate him one day. But there's so many families like his family that are dealing with the grief and loss of someone that's just vanished into thin air, which is bizarre. Steve's family have said they're going to continue to search for answers and what happened to him. They have a Facebook page and they also have a GoFundMe page for donations in the search for answers.